here and we'll see about the sound. I want to see what happens with sound. We are live. Not that anybody's watching yet, but we're live. And I'm checking out live streaming. And I'm checking out live streaming. See? And I'm checking out. That pulls us into that big loop. I don't like that loop. Let's try this. What if I do that and do this? And do. Okay. Try it again. Check. Playing live. See, nothing's going through, but what is happening to you guys? If I do that and do this, okay. Try it again. Check. Playing live. See, nothing is going through, but what is happening to you guys? If I do that and do this, well, we'll keep checking, and I'll keep the sound turned off. And we'll keep it muted, but we'll not play it. All right, so we're going live, and I think you can watch it on Facebook or our thing right now, but we're going to start talking about it a little bit. I'm going to keep YouTube running, and I'll pay attention to the YouTube post, but we're working on this, everybody. I hope you're all here. I hope we're all okay. Chris is here, which is awesome. And we're live for a couple minutes here, and we're playing with the live stream. Because I think we can do this without running into any sort of echo, as long as I don't turn on anything else except YouTube. But we'll keep an eye on our group, and any questions that come into the group we'll look into. And if you're joining us because we decided to live stream this on Facebook, great. That's wonderful. But we're live streaming on Facebook because we want to make sure we get the word out to everybody that we're not doing Facebook groups anymore. Facebook groups are too separated, too distant from our program, our online curriculum. So we have a group now. We have our own community where we'll be doing all of our live streaming. And you can join that very easily if you go to your online group and your online program that you've joined, even if it's the free one, even if you just join the free intro program that costs $0, you can still get onto our community and you can watch some of our live streams. Some live streams will be for students at higher belt levels and stuff, but this live stream, the Monday live stream, which is a question and answer live stream, if you want to ask questions, you need to go to our community. I'm not going to see your posts on Facebook because we're not going to live stream these every week to Facebook. Like this week we are, but not every week. So that's not where we're looking for the questions. If you want to ask us questions, you need to go to our community on oneworldma.com, and you can click the little community button up top, or you can find the little blue speaker button on the bottom, and you can join our community. And we have a live stream group there, and we'll live stream our classes there, and that's where you can ask questions and get your questions answered. You can ask questions at any time, and the two of us are always running up and checking. And if we get a question, we'll say, all right, now we've done this thing, here's a question we need to answer, and we'll answer your questions. We'll also demonstrate some basic stuff. From time to time, we'll do white belt, yellow belt, orange belt. So even if we're doing something that's above your pay grade, you can still follow along. And if we're doing something that, say, you're an orange or green and we're doing yellow, it's always good to practice the basics with us, because we'll talk about them and kind of teach them on this class. And sometimes you might hear us say something in a way that wasn't on the videos that might help you think, oh, that makes a little more sense. And so that'll help us. So right now in our group, I see that Chris is here, and that's great. If you need to ask questions, anybody at any time, I'm going to move our camera just a little bit because it's not quite right. And I believe it's this one.
Adjusting up and down?
Yeah, just up and down.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, so that everything's a little better. And again, we watch ourselves on YouTube, but we want you guys watching on our community. We do that because of the feedback loop. In a month or so, supposedly we're going to be able to integrate directly with our community, and we won't be doing these on YouTube, so they definitely won't be going to Facebook. They'll be going directly to our community. Our Monday live stream question and answers will always be done on our community that you can join through oneworldma.com. Once we move there, that's it. You'll only know that when you join a program, and we'll send you links to it. But we'll do this every Monday except vacation Mondays, such as
next week.
Next week, we're taking our vacation. He's going off doing something. I'm grabbing my wife. We're going to take off and do something. I always take a week off in August because I always need it. All right. So that's what we're doing. All right. It is time. Let's bow in. And we've got a couple good questions that basically all are asking the same thing. So let's bow in, and I'll tell you what we're going to do first today. And bow. Okay, one of the things we've been doing is we've been working on our extremely diverse in-school classes and students, and we're putting them into the online curriculum, and we're getting things all wrapped up. So there are a lot of people of a lot of different belts who are learning 9-count drills, because a lot of my youth, we stopped at 6. We didn't go all the way to 9 with a lot of my youth classes back when we taught here. We saved 7, 8, 9 for later. Well, on the online program, it's 3 counts, then 6 counts, then 9 counts, in that order for every student. Adults basically go 3 counts to 6 counts and 9 counts. Okay? So we're going to refresh from time to time, look to see if you have any questions. But today, we are going to go through the 9-count drills of stance, step, block, and punch. We're not going to get to kicking because I've even more modified my kicking drill. We go up to 18 now in our kicks. So that was originally from my instructor, John. He did an 18-count kicking drill. I rearranged it to make sure they were in good families, and I like the families because we can break out the families for students of all mobilities and focus on what they're able to do and still work within this group. So that's a little different. We are going to go through the traditional American Bondo 9-count drills today. Everyone should know the 3, but we're going to go through 1 through 6, and then we're going to teach 7, 8, 9 just tonight so everybody can get their questions answered. So we're going to begin. Cy Miles is going to take you through the stance drill 1 through 6, and I am going to constantly interrupt him because that's what I do. All right? Begin, Cy Miles. Oh, and then, no, I'm kidding. I was interrupting. Just joking. All right, begin.
Everyone, stance drill. Make sure those knees are bent. Feet shoulder distance apart. Hands up by our face. And A stance right. 2. A stance left. Make sure those toes pointed forward. Hands up, everyone.
Get used to this. See how low he's getting. He's not bouncing up and down when he moves. I want you to watch how level he stays. Not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. But watch how level he stays. Your legs should be burning. Get used to this. Get low. Drop your weight. Keep your back straight.
And 2. Next up, L stance. Remember, stepping away from the camera. L stance right.
At a 45-degree angle out.
And 2. L stance left.
See how his body shifted all the way over here? That's because he's stepping out at a 45, not straight back into the guy sneaking up on you.
And 2. Gotta keep those toes forward for this one. In stance right.
In stance. In. Your toes point forward. The shape of your lines, if you were to connect them together, looks like an in.
And 2. And stance left.
Toes pointed forward. This is forward mobility. Hips forward, shoulders forward.
And 2. Python, right? Gonna get in our animals. Elbow, all the way across, all the way to the opposite side.
All our animal stances are the first 3 stances plus an extra. Get into your H before you drive your elbows. Go.
And 2. Python left.
H, elbow, elbow, H. You finish in the H.
Cat stance right. Step
L to cat. The cat is 90% of your weight on your back foot, 10% of your weight on the front leg. Not 100% on the back.
2. And cat stance left.
By putting that 10% down on this foot, you can dig into the ground a little bit. 100% is just floating here. That's no good. We're going to do that. If we're going to do that, we'll do a crane, which is next. Put the foot on the ground and give yourself 10% of your weight on that toe so you can trigger off. See, when I do that with 10%, my body moves. I can trigger, okay? If I'm up here, it's just floating. Don't float. Put the weight there. It increases your balance and your mobility.
2. And crane right.
Now we're going 100%.
2, 3, 2.
And if we're going 100%, it should be because we've got to get our foot off the ground and out of the way of a sweep.
And
Otherwise, why do it?
crane left.
Why on earth would you take your foot off the ground if you didn't have to, right?
2. Also, you have to remember that while we hold it for 3 to 5 to whatever, however many seconds, it's just going to be a brief instant if you need to use that in your life.
Yeah, in real life, you're getting out of the way of a sweep. There's a lot of leg sweeps and a lot of low kicks and a lot of heel hook sweeps and a lot of what we have a lot of chopping down to knock the leg out. So when somebody's coming in to chop that down, you pick your foot up and get it out of the way. But you're not going to stay here and go, ha ha, I fooled you. I'm not here. It's just out of the way and then back in and get to work. Okay? Now let's move on to the last 3 stances, 7, 8, and 9. Here's the cool thing about the stance drill. 7, 8, 9 are the same stances. The same stance, the cross stance. So if you get the cross stance right once, you should be able to get it right 6 times. The cross stance is turn your toe out the position you're going to move. So for the first cross stance, you turn your right foot out to the right.
Notice how it's not much of a step.
Not much of a step.
Turn of the foot.
We're just working the stance, not the stepping pattern. We're just turning our foot to develop the proper foot position for the stance. And since I'm going to the side, I point my toe to the side. Any hints as to where the toe would go if we were going backwards? Yes, to the back. If we were going forwards, points to the front. It points the direction you're going. Side, back at a 45, or forward at a 45. That's the only difference to this whole stance drill. Okay? So we point out 90 degrees away for the first step. We're going to lift our knee up nice and high into a big step. And we're going to step down, toes pointing towards the camera, toes pointing towards the bad guy. You're the bad guy. I'm stepping away and crossing. My toe points to you with the stepping. This heel can come up. It doesn't have to lock down. It can come up so that my thighs can push together. I can drop my weight, lock my balance in. The elbow that's closest to the bad guy should be covering. This is protecting me. But it opens up a very, very glaring weak spot in the human body right here in the armpit. So this hand covers the armpit. 2. And that's it. That's the cross stance. For 6 right, 6 left, 7 right, 7 left, 7, 8, 9. I can count. I'm in 7, 8, 9. It must be Monday. Okay? There's 6 steps. Oh. Everybody rewind, pretend I didn't just screw up. All right. For stances 7, 8, and 9, the cross stances, it's always the same. Point your toe the way you're going. Big, lift the knee, point the toe towards the opponent, elbow towards the opponent, hand under the armpit. So whichever foot's stepping is the elbow that's going to wind up being presented towards your opponent. If I'm stepping with this foot, this elbow is going to wind up being presented towards the opponent. Okay? And that's the stance. Now let's show you how we can do that. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay? So Miles, come back here.
Yep, just
Yeah, I see it.
yep. No questions? All right.
No questions yet?
No.
Show them 7, 8, and 9. Call out the toes.
Everyone, get set, bend those knees, hands up by our face. Turn your right side of toes out over here to the right. Take your left foot, big step, over towards the right. Your toes should be pointing towards me, towards the camera, or computer, tablet, whatever you're doing. And cover with the left arm, that should be closest to your imaginary opponent here. Right arm should be up here, protecting this entrance into your rib cage. 2. And same thing out to the left. Turn the foot out. Remember, it's not a full step. Just turn the foot out. Left foot out to our left. Right foot, big step. Across. Toes pointing at you guys. Right hand covers. Left hand protects my weak spot here.
Don't let your feet get too close together, because the closer together your feet are, the more straight up and down you're going to stand. Spread your feet wide, collapse, lock your thighs together, which helps provide protection fore and aft, and drop your weight with your back straight. Yeah, fore and aft. I'm a sailor. Oh boy. Let's keep working.
And same thing, back off at an angle. We're going to turn our foot a little bit farther this time,
What direction is that going, Cy Miles?
going to our right at a 45 degree behind us.
He's going to the back. He's avoiding the person in front, and he's retreating. He's retreating offline. We never go straight forward or straight backwards until we've reached the point where we can do that on purpose to break a rule. Right now, the rule is never go forward or backwards in a straight line. Continue.
Same thing, back off to our left. Turn that foot,
Stance number 8.
cross over with your right.
Towards.
Over here. My foot, my toe should be pointing over here at like 45 from here, so I should be my toe should kind of be making a Z shape also, kind of here, then out there, kind of zigzag. Right arm, up here, brace on my shoulder, other hand, still down here.
By turning your foot sideways and turning the instep forward, you're providing a platform that goes side to side for your balance. Because if I'm facing here, but I can turn my toes sideways like this, that gives me a toe to heel balance side to side while my legs are crossed. And while my legs are crossed this way, I don't have a lot. If I turn my toes forward, I'm very easily knocked over. If I turn the heel out this way and put my weight on it, I now have a side to side balance point because my foot is going this way, not this way. Okay, so turning the instep out towards the stepping point is the secret to maintaining your balance in this cross stance.
Now, number 9. One thing to make sure you might have remembered Sajidan saying this a few times earlier. We don't want to go straight forward, straight back. We don't want to just step over. We want to still turn that foot 45 degrees. Left foot moves up, toes pointing out, kind of making a T shape with my feet. Cover with the left, right hand protects. Tip. And same thing, 45 out to our left, and cross over with the right, toes pointing out.
He's going forwards and 45 degrees out at the same time. Forward and to the side at that 45 degree angle.
Right hand raised on my shoulder, left hand tucked up in here protecting me.
Right, so it's the same thing. The stepping foot is the elbow. Okay, good. So that's our stance drill. Okay, 7, 8, 9. Now we've gone through all 9 stances. You've got 3 letters, H, L, and N. You've got 3 animals, python, cat, and crane. And then you've got 3 cross stances. Those are the 3 sets of 3 in the stance drill. Get used to 3s, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big deal. 3 is a very important number in our system. So if 3 is an important number, how important would 3 3s be? Very important. So a lot of what we do is broken down into groups of 9. Okay? 3 families of 3. Speaking of 3 families of 3, let's continue with our footwork and let's remind ourselves that American Bondo is a movement-based system. We are about mobility and movement. We are about evasion. We are about attacking. We are about working angles. We are about arc movements. And so we also have to have a stepping drill. Now, the stepping drill has evolved over time to be more focused on our sport aspect of fighting, but it's still incredibly important in our high art as well, which is what our online program focuses on, which of course is perfection of character, perfection of movement and beauty, and all the great art, fine art, performing art that I love so much. Now, that doesn't mean we drop the sport, and it doesn't mean we drop the self-defense. It's all part of the same package. We just got to remember what we're focusing on. So this drill tends to focus more on sport movement, which of course has a huge application in self-defense. So this is a very important drill. All right, stepping drill is explosive movement getting off the point. The first family is the basic explosive step. So you're going to go from a ready position to a ready position. Whether that ready position is feet shoulder distance apart, or whether that ready position is feet shoulder distance apart with one in front of the other in an in stance, those are your 2 choices, okay? Feet shoulder distance apart, or one in front of the other shoulder distance apart. You're never going to be anything other than this after the movement. So the key to this is remember that you're going to go wide to regular, never wide to narrow, never wide to together, but always regular, explosive movement that goes wide to regular. You're always going to go back to a regular stance, which is shoulder distance apart. Okay? Let's go to it. Simon Miles, show them 1, 2, and 3. These are the basics. Family number 1.
Number 1. Knees slightly bent, hands up by our face. We don't need to get into a deeper stance this time. We don't need to get exactly shoulder distance apart. It is okay to leave this one a little bit more narrow for mobility's sake, but don't get too carried away with that.
Right?
It's up.
Shoulder distance apart, folks.
And side step right.
It's completely outside of the blue square. Your whole body must get out of the way.
And
Tiff, explode back to the square. Practice the movement.
and side step left. Try to make sure your feet don't move more than once. Try to make sure you don't step out together and out again, or together good.
All right. Simon Miles, in the stance drill, we talk about planting our feet, putting our heels on the ground, and good strong lock. What kind of positioning should our feet be doing here in stepping? The same thing? Should we be locking our heels down in the stepping drill?
We should be learning a little bit, but not really like seriously just locking ourselves
No locks
down.
and pops, right? No locks and pops.
Yeah.
The heels can touch the ground, but you want the weight on the balls of your feet. So it's okay if your heels touch the ground, but it's okay if they're up too. As long as the weight's on the balls of your feet while you're moving, that's great. Dropping the heels helps with balance, but it also locks you in place. And this is a movement-based drill, not a, I've got balance, right? This is, I'm moving. Okay? So it's okay if your heels stay up this time.
So, big thing, when we're doing this drill, feel free to have your, just come down a little bit, feel free to have them touch the floor a little bit, make sure your weight on the front of your feet, but remember, when we start adding punches and blocks to these, it's not a bad idea to lock yourself down to the ground and throw some techniques every now and again.
All right.
And remember, back at an angle, we're gonna move our angle. Back step right.
Same movement pattern. Side, side, back, back.
So still in an N this time though.
Not an L stance, an in stance. Toes pointed forward for movement and mobility. Continue.
In. Back step left.
Same thing. right? Toes are pointed forward. We're not going into a shallow L. We're staying in or H. Continue.
Tip. In. Forward step right. Tip. In. Forward step left. Now make sure you aren't leaning too far forward with these. We don't want to just let our momentum carry ourselves too far forward. That's the thing. Try to keep your back straight as you can on this one. Okay, lean forward a bit, but the main thing, try not to let your head go over your knee. It throws you forward too much.
That's right. Your head should not pass your knee. That's the same concept of keeping the back straight in the stances. Keeping your back straight and stepping forward. If my head gets over here, past the knee, I'm going to start falling forward. So keep that back straight, keep your weight down, keep your head no further than your knee. Okay? Very good. Continue. Now we're moving into the second family. See, the first family is very basic. Explosive, get off the line, 45-degree angles, 90-degree angles. Now we're adding into that. The next family, I straight up just call this the intermediate family. You're going to begin the same motion you've already done in the same pattern. You're going to go side, side, back, back, forward, forward. But at the tail end of the motion, you are adding an extra thing in. For the side, you're adding in extra distance. You are turning your body in towards the point, and you are moving further away from the point for someone who's closing in by stepping in and punching. Someone who's here and then steps in and punches into your space. Someone who steps in to push you. You're not just getting out of the way. You're creating more distance and turning in towards that person that's collecting your space. Okay? So that's what the second set of movements are called. They're the intermediate movements where you're adding extra onto the end of your first three movements. So remember your first three and then build on them. Number four?
Number four is the drag step. We're going to step out, and then with this foot that's still here, instead of just pulling it in like we did previously, we're going to have it drag behind us. So it's going to go away from my camera here, away from the computer. It's going to go behind me. So all I do is pivot from here to here. The biggest thing that confuses folks is they try to go in front and spin all the way.
There's no spinning in a circle. You're only turning your body 90 degrees, not 360 degrees, not 400 and a whole bunch of others. No math on Monday allowed. You're simply stepping out and turning 90 degrees and letting that foot go behind you. That's it. Okay? Continue.
Make sure your feet only move once out and once back if you can. Try to make sure you're staying right on your feet. No excessive movement. And drag step left. Step out, drag behind.
Good. And two. See how easy it is to get back to this blue square? All right, next one, you're going to go backwards. You're going to step back to that back step, but you're going to check a kick. You're moving backwards to get away from an attack. You're getting offline and retreating. So someone's attacking with something that's middle to long range, or you're just backing up to make space. But in this particular instance, you're backing up to make space, and somebody throws a roundhouse kick at you.
Right. So, everyone, back step right, back step like normal, then bar. Try to lift your knee, drive it up. Try to get it to touch your.
This is called knee to elbow, not elbow to knee. We don't back up and drop our elbow down here, okay? We back up with our hand in front of our face and drive our knee up until it touches the elbow. That creates the bar.
And unlike the rest of the steps, you don't need to wait for us to say two. You want to get out and back to where we start. Back step left, bar. Reset. Now, this one will kind of confuse people, like, why would we do this one? But bear with us for a second. 4-step right, use those thighs and those hips, switch step.
It's in the hips, it's all in the hips. Happy Gilmore. All right, continue to the next one.
4-step left, and switch step.
Okay, switches have a lot of utility, believe it or not. But in the drill, they look a little weird. Oh, I'm going to step up and I'm going to switch, right? Or I'm going to jump up and down and switch, right? But it's not. It's from the hips. We're practicing the hip movement. And the hips, it's an important movement in martial arts. You've got to be able to twist with the hips, okay? Okay? You have to be able to do it. And the other thing we want to do is we want to recognize that this hip switching movement can set up a lot of things. So one of the things it does, if I twist with the hips, I'm setting up Another twist back or a kick. I'm chambering a kick from this side. So if I switch, I'm setting up this kick. That's one of the things a switch step does. Yeah, but then how come we switch twice? Well, we switch twice. There's a couple reasons for that too. You will see switching happen a lot in sparring and in sport where deceptive practices help, where kicking is focused on in the rule sets, where they want you to kick. Now, you know, in our system, we're kick low, punch high. We have a lot of boxing in our sport. We have a lot of elbows and leadway. There's fists, elbows, headbutts, knees. But if you step back and you get into more open style tournament fighting and stuff, a lot of kick-focused martial arts, you will see a lot of switch stepping because it makes people watch for the kick, and then they go, oh, and they stop for just a second. So if I do this, and they go, oh, oh, and they stop. But if I do two of them, if I do two, I'm setting up this kick again. They go, oh, and they freeze for a second, or they go flat-footed, and then I can do my kicks and everything else. So it's a stunt. It's a stunt that really does freeze people up. And if it freezes them up, then you can deliver your kicking techniques that are a little bit higher. You have a little more time to land them because they are flat-footed and they can't get out of the way in time. So it's really nice. Okay?
Oh, he's switching. He's going to do a kick from the other side.
Right. Now he's switching. Watch out. Nope, I'm doing it from this one just like I said I was going to. Right? And it does work. It really does. It's worked for me. All right. So that's the switch step. There's the next three sets. Set number 2 was the intermediate. Now, the third set of steps are crossovers and turns. Now, this is not a cross stance. This is mobility-based, and if you get to the point where you're using cross steps in your fighting, you have either made a tremendous mistake or your opponent has set you up to where you are caught off and they're getting behind you. Or the third chance is you could be in the middle of a sport situation where somebody avoids your kick and you wind up getting turned. This actually happens a lot. We don't like to turn our back on our opponents, and yet all of these stances turn their back on their opponent. So in a practical self-defense situation, if you're doing this, this is an oh no moment. You are in trouble, and so you're getting out of there and moving fast and spinning out of the way and trying to get back turned around before the person jumps on you and takes you down from your back or puts you in a rear naked choke or puts you in one of our 5-point chokes or 4-point chokes or 3-point chokes. Yeah, we actually have a 5-point choke. I swear, it's pretty brutal. All right. It's just mean, really. This is a 4-point choke, mean pressure point. But you gotta worry about that. So these last 3 steps are crossovers and turns. Now listen to what I'm about to say, because we're going to go through this relatively quickly because they are all the same. Well, 7 and 8 are the same. 9 is an addition. Listen to this. Step out right. Cross over left and turn. I did not say step out right and spin around in a circle. Right? It's 3 things happening in order, but nonstop. 2, you have to step, turn. And the real secret is the eyes. If you're the bad guy, which by the way you are, you're the bad guy, camera, and the camera is attacking and coming in. So he's going to get out of the way, and he gets crossed up. He's going to step over and turn, but look at, he's looking at the camera. And then he spins, and he looks at the camera. Okay? You've got to look at your point. You've got to spot your target for your balance. You've got to spot your target for the combat and the sport. You got to keep your eyes on it. Now, you'll see in mixed martial arts and in kickboxing, a lot of times, someone will throw a kick, especially like if they're throwing a leg roundhouse and they miss, the person gets out of the way, that kick takes them around, and then they wind up turned sideways. And sometimes they'll just sideways and they'll just back out. But sometimes you throw the kick and the person's waiting for it, and after I miss it, he'll come in at me. So I'll spin out, they'll spin out of there. Because in sport, if I spin out of there and take that kick on my back, he can get in trouble. Because you're not allowed to attack the back, because it's not real life. So sometimes they'll spin out of that. Or they'll do their kick and the guy will come in and they'll just spin like this, whoa, and they'll run around. That is just a really poor example of the cross step and the crossover. Because they're like, oh, wait a minute, right? But it still gets them out of the way in a sport situation. All right, let's go through these. We're going to do the same stepping pattern, side, side, back, back. And then we'll add in something special for the forward, okay? So listen to the words. Ready, position. Step out right, cross over with the left, turn and spin to the front. right? Into the middle, I should say middle, not front. He's facing the blue square when he's done. Ready? Step out left. It's a step. It's a full step. He moved 2 feet over this way with this first step. Cross over with the right. Turn and spin facing the blue square in the middle. Because that's where the guy's coming. The guy's coming in, kicking. Oh, he's coming into your space. So you get out of the way and turn and face where he's going to be. 2. Do the exact same thing backwards at a 45. Step back and right, cross over with the left. Turn and face the blue. 2. And then do it again with your left. Step back left, cross over right, turn. Okay? Now, there are very common mistakes too. The most common mistakes are I don't look, and so I don't have my eyes on the opponent enough. And the other one is this one. The common mistake that a lot of people make is step, spin, instead of putting the foot down. Instead of step, step, spin, they go step, swing my leg around and spin. And all your weight's on one leg, and that's a real bad idea. You want to step, step, and spin. Okay? Step, step, and spin. Now, going forward, if you just step, step, and spin, just do step out, crossover, and turn. No drag. He's facing back this way. Okay? But his back is still turned towards where the opponent used to be. So if the opponent starts to come in and then stops, he's giving up his back to the bad guy. You don't want that. So you're going to keep moving. It's the same step, but from here, he's going to continue with that right leg and drive it forward. Keep moving forward. Exit. This is an exit move to the forward 45s. Back up. Now, he's going to move forward the whole time. Step right. Cross over left. Turn and drag that right foot forward. See how he keeps moving the same direction? This gets everybody in the beginning. Everybody goes right, left, turn, left, turn. I'm back where I started. I'm confused. Yeah, because it's right, left, right. Right, left, right. And it gets everybody in the beginning. Okay? And that was the #1 question we had this week. Keep moving forward. Okay? Let's do it again to the left. Listen to what I said. Step with the left. Cross over in front with the right. Turn and drag the left foot to the front. Okay? Left, right, left. Take turns with your feet. Left, right, left. All right, ready, position? Let's go through those 3 again on your own, non-stop. Side, side, back, back, forward, forward, stepping drill. Go.
Step out right, cross over left, and turn. 2. Step out left, cross over right, and turn. 2. Step back right, cross over left, turn. 2. Step back left, cross over right, turn. 2. Step forward right, cross over left, turn, drag that right foot forward.
See the extra move? Just an extra drag.
Step forward left, cross over right, turn, drag that left foot forward. 2. And 2.
Now, training at home, the big problem with that is space. We tend to train in front of our TV about this far away, and I'm training and I'm watching my videos, and then I get to that and I do this. Step, cross, crash, oh, hit the, boom, crunch, crunch, everything falls over, right? So what we tend to do in the drill is if I'm in the blue square, when I step back left, cross over right and turn, I just step out and I don't go back to the blue. Now I'm an extra step back. And I have a little more space. And then I can step forward right, cross over, turn, and drag. And then to get back, I go wide, together, wide, back. And I'm back where I started. Okay, so it's wide, together, wide, regular. Then I can do it this way. Step, left, cross over right, turn, drag, left foot forward. Wide, together, wide, regular. And I'm back where I started. Okay, which of course in this particular instance is 1 square back from where I should be. But that gives me more room to move forward when I'm training at home. Okay? Now, as you can see, the 9-count drills eat up a lot of time. But I got to tell you something. If you get stances, steps, blocks, punches, kicks, and then you start working the others, elbow, open hand, hammer fist, okay? You start getting all of these together, and you get all 9 drills, you have the vast majority of our system. Almost everything we do after that, almost, is learning how to put that stuff together in the right ways, learning how to use it intelligently, learning the theory and application. If you have the techniques of the drills, everything gets easier. That's why we spend so much time in American Bando learning drills, right? There are many martial arts that are like, you learned a couple punches, learned a couple kicks. Okay, here comes the Aka number 1. Here comes your first form, right? Get your X block, step out to an in stance, low block, step in and punch, right? Turn out, block, block, step in and punch. And that's great. It's awesome because it's more fun. Okay? But if you learn the 9-count drills, you have the foundation of our entire system. The drills are it. Okay? The drills are it. And then you spend the rest of your life, like if you're like me, or you spend the next couple of years, if you're like most people, learning how to make all that work right. But that's it, man. It's those drills are 80% of our system, probably. All right? Okay, good. Let's go to the next one, blocking, because we are eating up time, and we're going to run out of time in about 8 minutes. Yeah. All right? So we're going to at least do the blocking drill. Cy Miles, without interruption from me, is going to go through the first 6 blocks. And then we're going to teach 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to be out of time. Okay? But go ahead and communicate the first 6, but don't teach. Just, we've only got 8 minutes.
Come on, bend those knees, nice and deep. X. Don't forget to turn and lean. Overhead block right.
See the turn and lean?
And left.
Cy Miles, show the right nice and easy, and show the left full power.
Okay. Outside right.
See his shoulder leans forward?
Outside left.
There you go.
Low block right.
See how he turns and leans? His head is moving offline.
Low left.
See that? He's getting out of the way. It's not just the block, it's also getting out of the way.
Open. Cross block right.
Pulls into the cat, drives it across his face.
Make sure it's head high. Cross left. And X. Hook block right. Down.
That's a low block where you wind up blocking some strike that was at sternum or belly, and then you can hook it and trap it.
And hook left.
See how tight his arm had to be? Continue.
Cover drop. Sweep block right. And cover drop. Sweep left.
Good. Now, so for 5 and 6, right, you're adding on to stuff and you're actually doing a second motion in a 1 motion block. So it's a second purpose. So when we do our low blocks, right, that's great if somebody's punching in this area or kicking in this area in a linear shape. You're not blocking a roundhouse kick with this. Your arm's not going to stop my leg, I promise you. So you're not blocking a roundhouse kick. But if something's coming in at you, even if it's a front kick, and you move back and block that front kick out of the way, that can be done and has been done many times successfully. But if somebody's punching you in this area, they might not be punching at your groin. They might be punching at your belly or your sternum. And with your arms here, you block out here and you're blocking down and you're intercepting way high, it's going to feel ugly and awkward. But you should be smiling. Because if you're hitting way high and it feels ugly and awkward, you just do this, and now you've got his arm patch here, and then when you turn him, you've locked him in enough that you can throw that uppercut, you can throw that short punch, and you can get right up under it, and you've trapped their arm in your elbow by squeezing tight. That's why the fist comes here, not up here. We're not doing this, because I didn't capture you. That captures you. Okay? Cy Miles face me. Put your arm up. Okay? That one right there. Throw the punch to the sternum. Look how awkward that is. Look at this. My elbow's hitting. He's hitting on my ribs. I'm way high. But if I just finish my low block and do this, that's a trap. And as I pull him in, wham, I just shove this one through. Okay? That's what the hook block is. The sweep block, you're blocking low. Look at I'm exposed, so you come back up. So we'd love to pretend that what you're really doing is you're blocking 2 punches. He's going, oh, and you're going block, block. Well, maybe. But what you're really doing is making sure in case he throws that punch, you have a chance of doing that second block. Get your hands back up where they belong. So I'm blocking and then bring it back up here just to be safe. Okay? But yeah, wouldn't it be nice if a guy comes in and throws that front kick and we can knock the front kick out like this? Probably not, because we're not moving out of the way of this. We're actually knocking something out of the way of us for one of the few times. We're actually pushing something this way and then coming back and knocking this way in case they're coming up. Also, sometimes somebody will go jab, jab, right? And so you're going low for some weird block, which you're not supposed to be, and you're like down here and that punch is coming, right? And at least you're used to that motion. And this other hand comes up to help defend from that sneak attack, if you want to call it that. All right, let's get to 7, 8, 9. All right, 7, 8, 9. 7 is fairly basic, but there's a trick to it. Go ahead, teach it.
All right, crane block. We're going to take our opposite foot to our block we're doing. Bring it up in.
So it's a right crane, but we're picking up our left foot. We're moving to the right. So we pick up our left foot, but we also have our left hand on the outside, not the inside, which is breaking the rule of the X block. Okay? But there's a reason for it. Open, and then crane block right. Left. You go to the left, you pick up your right leg, and your right arm's on the outside. 2. Here's why. So if Simon's just facing me, and I grab his hand, he would slam this other arm down on top of it and try to break my grip. Okay? He would slam it down and try to break the grip. No crane, no need for crane or anything. What we're talking about the basic rule. The basic rule, if I grab you, slam it in, and you try to break that, boom, you break that grip. Or if you're overhead block and I grab, you go on the outside and scrape it off. So the hand that's not grabbed is supposed to go on the outside. But yet what we're doing in the crane block that I've been playing with for many years, and one of the things I learned that I really liked way better, that worked better, is to switch it. Don't try to knock the grip off, because it's not going to. Because the only reason you would pick your foot up is because somebody grabbed you and tried to sweep you. Or somebody grabbed you into a traditional bar and tried to do the throw, which happens all the time in our system. Put your arm up there, throw the big overhand right. Boom, boom. That's one of the things we do. And down he goes. Down and takes you out. Okay? Boom. Because I kick his hand up. Boom. Okay? Now, if Cy Miles does that hand and I grab it, and I go to do the sweep, and he pulls into an X and a crane block, he knows about this. He can't get this under and scrape me off. I'm trying to sweep him. He doesn't have time for it. It doesn't work in real life. When we did this under resistance testing, it didn't work. What he actually does is when I get this and he pulls in his X, he actually turns his body and it pulls my hands into him. So he's not trying to scrape anything at all. The way it works is you actually pull the hand in and pick the foot up, and it will turn your body almost 90 degrees. Now in the drill, we don't turn 90 because we aren't turning. We get turned because we want to pull him in. So we don't want to turn on purpose because then we don't pull the opponent. What we do is we drive it in like this. And when we do that, we get pivoted. But that's because of him. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's because of him, not me. Okay? So when I do that, I will get pivoted, but I'm pulling him in. And so that's why we keep the hand that gets grabbed, the leg, on the outside. Because we actually want to pull it in, and from there I can do some things. I can step back in, I can then step around his attempted sweep. Okay, so Cy Miles, let me have that hand again, right? And I grab that hand, and he pulls in while I try to sweep. Now look at me, right? He didn't crane, now look where I am. If he wanted to, he could take the crane and step right into me, right? This doesn't even matter anymore. He can punch right over top of his hand, right at my face. Doesn't even matter anymore. What he's done is he's taken away the move I was actually trying to do, which was the sweep. And because I was committed to that leg sweep, what happened was I was on one foot too. And when he pulled it in, I was like, whoops. And he was whoops. And now he's got the advantage and I don't. Doesn't matter if I'm holding on to his wrist. He gets to hit me and punch me and kick me and knee me and do all the fun stuff he wants to do because I was focused on this. And now I can't do it. So I have to reassess and restart. Okay, so that's block number 7. The foot that comes up is the arm that goes on the outside of the X. Okay, and you go to the direction of the call. A right crane block, you move to the right, which means your left leg comes up. Okay, and this arm goes on the outside for this leg, and this arm goes on the outside for this leg, and you're good to go. Let's move on. We're running out of time. Well, technically, we are out of time, but we're going to run a little long tonight because you guys are wonderful. Deep down inside, you know you love this. Number 8.
Thanks. And right over left, and paddle wheel.
Okay. You guys detecting a theme here?
Paddle wheel left.
So the X block crane, I grabbed you. It's the only reason to do this move is I'm grabbing you. You are stripping me of my grab. When I grab you, you pull your hand down and slam the bottom hand up on the outside and knock the hand away. And then do the same thing. Grab me here, knock the hand away. Okay? And that's because I might reach, you might do an overhead block. You might do an overhead, and I try to grab, and you go right into the paddle wheel, and then I might try to grab the other hand. So I'm trying to grab your hand. So I might try to grab both. Grab it. Oh, no, I got up. Right? So you could, now, obviously in the silly game, you wind up doing this forever, but this isn't a Marx Brothers movie. So we just do it twice, because it also teaches us how to drop. Show the crane, show the paddle wheel again from a stance. Watch his feet. Okay, he pops his heels twice, but he doesn't go up and down. He just goes down, 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 down. Okay, last block. We're moving fast, I know. Sorry.
Next up is the triple block. Cover right, slip left, scrape.
Simon, you think somebody's trying to grab us there?
Chances are high.
Chances are high. The last 3 blocks are for breaking grabs and stripping out grabs. We actually have a video at like brown or red about breaking the grabs. And one of the first things I talk about is you already know how. If you know 7, 8, 9, you already know how to break grabs. Let's play a break grab game. It'll be more fun. Okay? Breaking grabs. Okay.
To the left.
Cover, scrape, knock off. Cover. Ow, grab you. Oh, no. Okay, I'll grab you. Oh, no, I can't. You see? It doesn't matter which part of that I try to grab. You're constantly knocking things off with your slips, okay? Constantly. You're here, somebody punches, they go to grab you, right? So you just knock it off here and look up. They go to grab you, you just scrape it off here, okay? It's just constantly making them let go of you because you're in tight, all right? So blocks 7, 8, 9 are all about breaking grip. It's another thing we talk about in our system a lot. We don't live in the fantasy land of martial arts combat from here to here. And we both agree to fight from here forever. Occasional kicks, occasionally we get close enough to punch, but most of the time we're moving around and we're trying to do 49 different cool kicks and combinations that go from kick, 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 punch, 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 blah, 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 kick, kick, kick. First time you land a blow on somebody, their plan went out the window, your plan goes out the window because they go, ah! And now they're here and they're grabbing you because you're winning. So the reality of fighting is clashes and bumps and hip checks and shoulders into each other's face, and that's the reality of the movement and mobility you're going to have to deal with. So you are going to get grabbed. You are going to get grabbed if your fight lasts longer than 1 or 2 moves. All right? Good. Feet together, arms out. We are out of time. We will answer more about the 9-count drills 2 weeks from now. Next week, I'm on vacation, and so I'm giving Simon Miles a week off too. Attention. Bow. We will show an old video next week for those that want to come in and train, an old Q&A video. We're not just going to leave you high and dry. Bye.
Everyone, y'all have a good one.